Okay, let's do a fresh look at Bitcoin. So, just a couple of days ago, I did a price analysis, and I said that I quite certain that we're going to see Bitcoin drop below the previous month low, and a high likelihood, that we go below the April low of 74,400, and possibly even below that, below the low 70s. Um, That's all still valid. What I didn't do is look at the bullish scenario to get an understanding of what I'd be looking for if we were going to go higher. However, as you can see, that from the low at the end of November, 80,500 or so, we've now moved up to 92, which is about, and we've gone as high as 94. So that's like moving up about $13,000, which is significant. So, I mean, last month we dropped, if we're including the range, like $28,000. And to retrace 13, 14, that's a big chunk of it. So these are monthly candles. And let's just recognize what we'd have to see for this to turn bullish. So first of all, the truth is that we're still in bullish order flow if we look at it, right? We haven't really gotten out on the monthly time frame. We haven't really gotten out of bullish order flow. To some degree, we did, and this is why it's somewhat, it's unclear right now where we're going. I would say it's not completely clear. Although I'll show you when we get to the weekly and daily. It's also still not clear, but you'll see certain things you can't see at this higher time frame. First of all, over here, there's this gap here. Would now be considered a monthly bearish inversion. Okay, that bullish BISI, that bullish imbalance, has become a bearish imbalance, and it just vanished from this time frame because it's not set to stay there. But this would be a bearish monthly inversion for value gap, and that's this. So one of the first things that we would want to see on the monthly time frame is that if we're going to continue higher and the December candle closes above this, which is above 98,200 and change, that's a bullish sign. That is the first, that is a high time frame bullish sign. We'll see. It could be, though, what happens is that we wick up and then come back down, similar to what we did in this month, March. If you notice here, March we had a similar situation, although not quite the same, because March we came down, but we didn't. There was this BISI, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency over here, comparable to the one over here. But whereas in December we closed below it, which is more bearish, in March we didn't close below it. We came down into like the lower quarter, just barely, and then but we closed above the midpoint. And then the following month we wicked up, we wicked down, and we closed roughly around the middle. And then the following month, we took out the lows, the liquidity below these two. We just about rebalanced most of the remaining imbalance before pushing higher. So we don't yet know if the December candle is going to look like this or like this. It could be. We don't know. But we'll recognize that in order to see bullish continuation, we would expect to see a significant close above some kind of bearish PD array using ICT's concepts, some kind of premium discount array. This currently would be considered a bearish premium array. If price respects it, we can expect lower prices. If price disrespects it, that would mean closing above it. Then we could anticipate likelihood of higher prices. Okay, we're now looking at the weekly time frame. So now every candle here is 1 week, and we can see here that we had a weekly bullish imbalance over here on the way up, and we had another weekly bullish imbalance over here. Actually, let me take off the monthly one. It's just distracting. All right, that should be easier to see now. We had a bullish imbalance on the way up, which we came down. See how we respected it? Respected again means that we used it as support to continue higher. Disrespecting it would be closing below it. So this bullish imbalance is a bullish discount array because it is indicating that we're likely to continue higher. However, when we came back down and closed below it, that changed this bullish weekly imbalance into a bearish weekly imbalance. And when this candle closed, this weekly candle from the 10th of November closed below, that's why we changed that from green to red. And over here, we just have an additional weekly imbalance. Now, over here, these are still green. Why? Because we haven't closed below it. These are all weekly imbalances that we haven't really closed below. This one we did close below, but then we used it as support afterwards, so it turned it back green. It's a reclaimed, I don't know if you could see that, but RCL, it's been a reclaimed buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. So this was 2 weeks ago, last week, and this week. This week we wicked below last week, but we still have not taken the previous monthly low. So on the weekly, what do we expect to see? What would we want to see? Well, first of all, if we're going higher, we want to see this week, and there are 3.5 days left to this week. We'd like to see this weekly candle close above this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, respecting it. That would be a bullish sign. That would be a sign that we're continuing higher. If we close inside it, then it's somewhat indecisive. That would put us, we're definitely in bearish order flow on the weekly time frame. And I say that because, as you can see, we've been pushing up higher highs and higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Are we going to get a higher high and a higher low? We're not sure yet. Not clear. All right. Also, we've closed below, right? We closed below this low. Anyway, that's a little more advanced. So that's on the weekly time frame. That's what we want. We want to see at a minimum, if we're going higher, expecting higher prices, want to see it close above this. Does that mean that we're going back to all-time highs right away? It doesn't tell us that yet, but it tells us that the next thing to look for would be a weekly close above this bearish imbalance. And if we have a close, whether it's this weekly candle or next one or the one after, above that, that's another bullish sign, and then we'd have to look to see what would be next. Let's go down to the daily time frame. And on the daily time frame, we can see how we had that bullish imbalance. We closed below it over here, both of these on the daily time frame. Even though if we go back to the weekly, the same area we respected on the weekly. Okay, so again, trading or investing, or depending on your time frame, very much depends on what time frame you're looking at. And that's why I urge you, do not make any trades based on my videos. You will lose money. This is just for those who are curious and interested in the concepts. Now, on the daily time frame, you can clearly see again we had the higher highs and the higher lows, higher high and then we have a lower low. Okay, so we had a high and a low and a higher high and a lower low, and we made a lower high and a higher low. So we're chopping sideways over here, made a higher high and a lower low. And then we respected this SIBI, the sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. And that sent us all the way down to almost down to the low, the April low. It took us all the way down to here. This is our previous month low. So let's look over here though. Let's zoom in on the daily chart, previous month low. So we hit this and right away rejected it within the same day. Each candle here is a daily candle. Then the next day, we couldn't even make it down to 50% of this wick. And that's a significant thing. Why is that? Okay, hold on a second. Let me just update that. Okay. See, the second daily candle didn't even make it to halfway below that wick. And so it's respecting this wick. We pushed up from there. This SIBI, the sell side imbalance, has now become a bullish inversion. So let's update that. And this bearish imbalance, right? Remember, this had been a BISI, a buy side imbalance, sell side efficiency, which is bullish. It was then closed below. So we turned that into a bearish inversion. And now that becomes, once again, a reclaimed bullish fair value gap on the daily time frame. Let's update that. Okay, updated. So when did it become that? It became that yesterday when yesterday's candle closed above it. Now, in addition, we have this buy-side imbalance this sell-side imbalance, buy-side inefficiency that we closed below, but then we came up and then we used it as support, came back down below it, found support on this bearish, this was a BISI, bullish imbalance. We closed below it, making an inversion. And now this also becomes a reclaimed BISI, just like the one right above. Okay, so we're starting to see that on the daily time frame, we're starting to see signs of bullishness. The question, what we don't know is, will it hold up? Because anytime you're going to have dramatic move one direction, you're likely to see retracements before a continuation. It's not yet clear, at least not to me, whether this is a retracement and then we're going to continue lower, or if this is an actual reversal and we're going to continue higher, coming up and making new all-time highs, and then up to 130K and beyond. I have no doubt that eventually we will be making new all-time highs. I just don't know when. So let's, again, just look at this and let's see what are we looking to see if we were going higher. So what we're looking to see if we're going higher, we'd want to see a bullish close above this leg of down close candles, which we got yesterday. And what we'd want to see today, or in the next couple of days or few days, we'd want to see a retracement down into this leg of bearish candles here, and this is a bullish order block because we closed above the open of this leg down. We want to see that price now uses that as support to push higher. And if we start to see that, and then closing above this set of down close candles, which would make that into a bullish order block. So that's what we're looking for. If we don't see that, if we start to see that price is either dropping below this BISI, dropping below this reclaimed BISI, or so on, then we're starting to see price disrespecting. Now, it could be that we chop sideways for a while, which the direction is unclear. And we don't know. I mean, this is what we're looking to see. So again, if I'm you, I'm not trading Bitcoin short term. I wouldn't do that. I only would buy it for long term, meaning at least 5 years or longer. And but do not follow my suggestions. You got to do your own studying, come to your own conclusions. I'm sharing this just for those who are interested in analyzing Bitcoin's price. So if we're going to go higher, again, we're looking to see support in the BISIs, this BISI over here, this reclaimed BISI over here, this reclaimed BISI from back months ago, as well as above the order blocks, as I pointed out. We could go down to the 4 hour, but the 4 hour would just show you that we're like in the shorter time frame, we could start to see a retracement back to this balanced price range over here. Maybe we wick into it before going higher. If we close below it, that's again a sign of weakness, a sign of bearishness. It shows that we retraced up into these imbalances over here, took out liquidity above this high, above this high. But as we start to see signs of weakness where we're closing below bullish PD arrays, then that could indicate we're going lower again to take out liquidity below this low and below November low. And if that's the case, then my expectation is, as in my previous video, that we're going to see we take out the April low and possibly even the midpoint of the entire dealing range. All right, if you found this helpful, let me know.